As gardeners, there are many different problems that we have to deal with every day. There are pests, diseases, and many failures that we will have. I may be experiencing a little bit of a failure myself, and I probably spoke a little bit too soon actually. Towards the back end of last year, I released a video about my tomato horse manure experiment when I grew a tomato plant purely in horse manure. And I spoke a little bit about why I like horse manure and so on. And I have used horse manure now for 4 years, and I've never had any problems with aminopyralid. Now, on that video, there were some people that made comments saying that they're scared of aminopyralid herbicide in horse manure, and I said that I trust where our horse manure is sourced from, and I trust that there's no herbicides in it. But it's safe to say that I spoke a little bit too soon, and it was a case of famous last words, because it appears that this year I may be seeing some signs of aminopyralid herbicide damage in my tomato plants. Only in a couple of them though, so far anyway. I am hoping that there are no others that show any symptoms of it. It could just be that there's a little bit of a trace of it in some of the horse manure, because there are different suppliers, and it does come from different people. So it could just have been one batch of horse manure, because I have been applying several different piles over the winter. So it could just be from that one application that just had a little bit in it. So there are some signs here. And if you're unaware of what aminopyralid is, aminopyralid is a chemical weed killer that is used on grassland to treat weeds, like clover for example. And sometimes traces of this can also end up in horse manures through the manure or the straw or hay that is contained in it. And this is a really big problem amongst a lot of gardeners, and it's becoming a very common problem in the UK. And it does affect broadleaf vegetables worse. Vegetables like beans, squashes, peas, tomatoes, potatoes, just to name a few. Those are the ones that are more sensitive to aminopyralid herbicide, and it is those that are going to show the symptoms. And it is very damaging to the plant actually, and it will eventually kill it. You're not going to get any crop from it, to be honest. Thankfully, the aminopyralid herbicide is not likely to end up in the fruit or the food itself. To be honest, you're probably not going to get any food from it anyway, like I said. But yeah, it's just going to affect the plant, and you get these thin, skeletonized leaves. In fact, I'll show you now what it looks like. Okay, so there's a couple of tomatoes that I suspect may be showing signs of aminopyralid damage. It could well be leaf roll disease. There is a possibility of that because it does get very hot in the polytunnel. But it does look a little bit like aminopyralid damage to me. If you just look at the top there, just the way the leaves are curling, and how the leaves are they're sort of going a little bit thin as well and distorted. Yeah, and see how the leaf is sort of curling up there. That's one symptom. The leaves are sort of go really mutated, skinny and skeletonized and mutated, and yeah. But I'll show you the other one anyway. Okay, so the other one is looking much worse actually, and yeah. In fact, I'm probably going to pull that out soon. There's no point keeping that in there. See how the leaves at the top have gone really skinny? See that? It's not normal for a tomato plant to be like that, and that is a symptom of aminopyralid damage. These flowers here aren't really going to produce anything, to be honest, and if they do, they'll be really mutated and just not very good, to be honest. So yeah, that is what it looks like. So there are a couple of tomato plants that are showing what I think anyway is signs of aminopyralid damage. Time will tell though, over the next few weeks and months we'll see if any other tomato plants start showing signs. Hopefully not, because we have got a lot of tomato plants that we've put a lot of effort in this year. There's, I don't know how many, there's 40 varieties of tomato, and there's about 40 tomato plants in here, so let's hope not, because I've put horse manure in every bed that I'm growing tomatoes in, so it will be a disaster. But I just thought I'd document this anyway. I like to record the things that don't go quite as well, and the failures, as well as the things that go well as well. I think it's good to have both sides of things. I wouldn't put it down. I wouldn't really say this is a failure, though. I would say it's probably more of a, a lesson to lean on the side of caution, and just be a little bit more wary about where horse manure is coming from as well. I was under the false impression that it was all right, seeing as I had 3 seasons already without any problems. But clearly, you can never trust. You can never really trust where it's coming from, and aminopyralid is becoming a much more common problem in the UK, and I'm hearing a lot more about instances where people have, worse than this, people have been losing crops, and it stays in the soil for around 2 or 3 years afterwards as well. So once you've had a problem with aminopyralid herbicide in your soil, you're probably not going to be able to grow any broadleaf plants in it for a good 2 or 3 seasons after that. So big problem if you've got a bad situation with it. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think this is aminopyralid damage? I've never actually had it myself before, so I could be wrong. It may just be leaf roll disease or something else, or heat stress. It could even be heat stress. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I just wanted to document this today, in case I do end up having a problem with aminopyralid damage, in which case I probably won't use horse manure again, to be honest. Or if I do, I will probably just make a big pile of it to compost, and the composting process will probably remove the aminopyralid in time. You can actually also, what some people do is they'll leave a squash plant or a pumpkin plant in a pile of horse manure, and that way they will know whether or not it is infected with aminopyralid. So yeah, just a little bit of a quick one today. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Happy gardening, and remember, just be careful with horse manure and make sure you don't have any problems with aminopyralid.